What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex, and you're watching a Ragin Ronin review. In this video, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about the Godzilla vs. Kong trailer. It came out yesterday. I watched it a number of times. I'm super hyped about this film. It is the biggest film of this year. Actually, I'm only saying that just because I don't really know what actually is coming out this year, because studios keep on delaying their releases after they announced it, or they keep on shifting things around and moving things around. I can't even stick to the same release schedule for this year because they keep on changing things. But we know for a fact that Warner Brothers and Legendary Pictures are sticking to their release date, and that is March. I forget the exact date, but a date in March, and it's going to have a theatrical and streaming release. I don't know which one I'm going to go with. It really depends on if theaters in my city will be reopening by that time. I hope they will, because I would love for this film to be seen in IMAX, or at least in a big screen. It's one of those films that needs to be seen in the biggest possible screen like in existence, just because this film is huge. But if I have to, at least I can watch it in the comfort of my own home, okay? So I'm super hyped about this. Anyways, like I said before, I watched it a number of times, and then I've read actually a lot of the comments and feedback regarding this film. For the most part, all the fans and everybody who's seen the trailer is super excited about this film. Can't wait to watch it. And I think one of the main reasons why is because, first of all, it's an exciting trailer. But second, we didn't get any films like this in all of last year. We didn't get any big, epic, like, tentpole summer films like this. I mean, there was Tenet, but it's not the same type of film. Then there's Bad Boys for Life. Like I said, still not the same type of film. It's a fun popcorn action flick, but it's not on the same scale and epicness as Godzilla vs. Kong. So that's why I think a lot of people, and I'm going to say people, not just movie fans, are just hyped about seeing something like this in general. So there's a lot of positive feedback about this film. But I've been reading a lot of other comments, and this is mainly from the hardcore fans, and there's a lot of things that they find sketchy about this film. So we're going to talk about those things, but I just want to talk about, start by talking about some of the topics that I want to cover. And I want to first say that I am so glad to see Kyle Chandler back. I think that he's a really solid actor. I like a lot of the films that he's in, and I've always enjoyed his performances, and he's really good at playing an overly concerned dad. He just is really good at that, and I don't mind if he keeps on playing that type of character or a military leader. He's just so good at it. And what's great about seeing him in this film is that he can finally say that he's been in 3 kaiju movies that are actually, well, related. I won't say connected with each other, but related with each other. He was in Peter Jackson's King Kong. I think that came out in 2001. So 20 years ago, he played that action star in Peter Jackson's King Kong. Then he, of course, was in Godzilla King of the Monsters. And now he's in this latest film in this monster kaiju cinematic universe, and that's Godzilla vs. Kong. So he's in a King Kong film, he's in a Godzilla film, and now he's in a Godzilla vs. King Kong film. So that is awesome. Okay. Next thing I want to talk about is King Kong's size. Now, a lot of people, you know, they're a little bit weirded out by the fact that King Kong is massive. He's just huge. All right, and this was a topic that was discussed way before this trailer even existed. Okay, the fact that the film was announced, where it was Godzilla versus Kong, already had fans speculating on how is this going to work out. Godzilla's like massive. He's like so tall. King Kong's really should be like a quarter of the size of Godzilla. And then you have this version of him where he's just massive in King Kong versus Godzilla. I'll be completely honest about this. I just want to see them fight. I don't really care. I don't require an explanation as to why King Kong is that size. He's just big. Maybe he grew. But I really don't want to see a scene where he's been genetically modified to be enhanced so that he can go up against, like the humans can make him go up against Godzilla at that size. I really do not want that at all. I don't need that part explained at all, okay? And if that's going to be a problem for you, then that is your problem. That's not a problem with the film. It's not a plot hole at all. It is just that you're nitpicking, because Godzilla, like, it'd be no match. There would be no film at all if they weren't the same size, okay? King Kong doesn't stand a chance. He's got so much arsenal going up against King Kong. Like, what is the point even, right? So it's not even an issue. All right, so we're gonna just skip that. And even when you watched him in Kong Skull Island, he was massive. He was really, really massive. So if they decide to take a liberties of adding a couple of extra feet or meters, whatever, for that matter, then so be it. You know, nobody's out there really measuring, okay? Next, there is a scene, actually, I think maybe two scenes, where in the trailer you see King Kong swinging this, I'm going to call it a wyvern, because that's what it looks like. If you don't know what a wyvern is, it's this giant flying, like, snake, like a dragon, but it doesn't have legs. It's just got wings. It looks like he's grabbing this wyvern and swinging it around. That's a flashback scene. I'm going to call it right now. That's a flashback scene. That's not a scene that happens in modern day on Kong Skull Island. The context of that scene is that I think Rebecca Hall's character was narrating that these titans have fought and existed for like so many years ago, and they've just always been fighting. It's about like they're you know, they're always fighting. That's their thing. That's their nature, okay? They always want to find out who is the king of the monsters, right? So I think that's a flashback scene, along with this other scene where it's a very dark scene, but it's got like lights everywhere, different kind of lights and glowing stuff everywhere. I think that is part of the flashback sequences. I don't actually think that those scenes are connected with modern day fight sequences. I think that anything in the modern day that takes place is strictly Godzilla versus Kong. Now, of course, I could be totally wrong about this, but I'm just going with my theories, okay? And that is, I think those scenes are flashback scenes, okay? Second, I mean, the next thing I want to talk about is a little girl. So, I've been reading the comments, and some people are complaining, not really complaining, but I guess pointing out the fact that this is an overdone movie trope, and that is King Kong connects with a human character, and then this is something that we've seen before. He's super protective of her. Now, here's what I gotta say about this. The whole little girl or female or King Kong being infatuated with the female character is part of King Kong lore. Okay, I'm not a fan of, like, I don't follow, like, kaijus. I'm not a big fan, like a hardcore fan of Godzilla or King Kong. I just enjoy their movies for what is put out there, that is accessible, okay? I don't really, like, I don't go back to the hardcore lore of the black and white King Kongs, and I don't follow any of that. I just follow whatever's the current films out there, right? So, but King Kong has always been, like the heart of the film has always been, the heart of the character has always been the female character that he loves and wants to protect. Like, he befriends this female character. So in the case of this film, he doesn't befriend a beautiful blonde. He befriends a little girl, and I really like that idea, because he's befriending the native of Skull Island. You know what I'm saying? So I actually like that more than him befriending the hot blonde. And I just feel that that's the heart and soul of the King Kong character. One of the reasons why I think that I did not enjoy Kong Skull Island as much as I did when I watched it for the first time is because it lacked heart. I've seen King Kong films, actually only two King Kong films, the original and also Peter Jackson's one. I felt for the character. But when I watched Kong Skull Island, I just enjoyed it for all the fighting that's going on. Like, it didn't really have a whole lot of heart. It was just nothing but kaiju fighting, and I had no problem with that. But it was missing the thing that King Kong, the previous King Kong films that I've seen had, and that was it lacked heart and soul. It lacked that human touch, that human emotional aspect of it. And by incorporating this little girl in it, You know, I don't mind it. I don't mind that it's a like an overused movie trope. It it exists because that's part of King Kong lore. So once again, you're just nitpicking if you have a problem with that, but that's actually part of the story. It's part of the character. Um, I'm watching the trailer and I'm gonna count how many battle sequences there are in this movie. Okay, so I believe there's a flashback battle sequence. There's the scene where the humans capture King Kong. So you cannot have a kaiju movie without humans fighting the kaijus, okay? Even though the main movie is about Godzilla versus Kong, you still have to have that sequence, okay? So that's already two action sequences. The capture of King Kong. There's Godzilla and King Kong's first encounter. That's the third sequence. Then I believe that there's, based on what I saw, there's this big sequence involving King Kong and Godzilla fighting at nighttime in a whole neon lit Hong Kong. That city is Hong Kong, where they're fighting in. I recognize those buildings. And then finally, this leads me to the biggest theory that fans are going with, and it's highly possible that this is going to happen, and that is King Kong and Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, or King Kong versus Mechagodzilla, or Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. But in the end of the day, Mechagodzilla is involved. Now, originally, when I first knew about the Godzilla versus King Kong movie, I didn't think Mechagodzilla was going to be in it. After watching the trailer, I still didn't think that Mechagodzilla was going to be in it. But then after reading comments and two particular shots in the trailer, it looks like there's gonna be Mechagodzilla in it. Now, I don't really care if Mechagodzilla is in it. I just want King Kong and Godzilla to fight, and I feel that the idea, or the plot idea, the subplot of these two protagonists stop fighting and then joining forces to fight a common enemy, I think it's been done to death. I think it's like, why can't we just have a Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla movie without King Kong and Godzilla teaming up? I just want to see them go at it. I don't mind that Mechagodzilla is in it. I think it's a little bit much, though. We've seen how these things happen. Like, for example, Batman versus Superman. They say Martha, and then they fight, a Doomsday, right? And that turned out, not that great. But this is a thing that we've seen a lot in other films, and that is the good guys fighting each other, or I won't say good guys, the protagonists fighting each other and teaming up after they identify a common enemy. And I know that the writers, if they decide to do that, I know that the writers just felt like that was a good idea. But for me, personally, I just feel like, why not save Mechagodzilla for another film? If this movie ends up being awesome, then Godzilla and versus Mechagodzilla is going to be an even better film. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I would prefer if Godzilla versus Kong sticks to being Godzilla versus Kong, not Godzilla versus Kong versus Mechagodzilla. Anyways, now the reason why that people think that Mechagodzilla is going to be in it is because of two shots. One is the shot where you see, if you look above these buildings, you see a Godzilla running through. But then you see these kind of like embers on him, like he's being lit up. So some people think that that's automatically Mechagodzilla. I wasn't completely convinced. Then I saw this shot, where they're in this kind of a control room, all right? And then you see this Asian dude, the Steven Yeun looking guy, and then he's standing behind some, what appears to be schematics for Mechagodzilla, potentially. It even has the words, it's kind of cut off there, but it looks like it says maximum charge. So these are schematics for a robotic Godzilla or a robotic kaiju of some kind. And it's probably there because the fighting's gone out of hand. There's so much destruction that they need to get their own version out there to fight them both, or just fight Godzilla. And now, whose team am I on? Am I on Team Kong, or am I on Team Godzilla? First of all, I'm not a hardcore fan of either. I just enjoy the movies, okay? But I'm definitely on Team Kong. And the reason why is because King Kong's the underdog. Look at Godzilla. He's got size, he's got mass, and he's got a lot of arsenal on him. He's got like atomic breath. He's got like a steroidal, powered up version of himself, as you've seen in king of the monsters. He can fully charge himself. I'm not sure if he still has that ability in this film, but the fact is that he's got a lot of tricks up his sleeve. As for King Kong, he's just brute force. He's just King Kong, but it looks like he's got himself a battle axe. Looks like he's got himself a battle axe, but King Kong, you know, he can, I think that he's got a lot of heart in him. He fights with a lot of heart. Godzilla, on the other hand, he's not only got brute force, he's got a bunch of tricks up his sleeve, but he's also got intelligence, okay? He's not a dumb dinosaur or reptile, okay? I think he's got intelligence. But King Kong fights with a lot of heart, and that might be enough for him to really beat Godzilla. Now, like I said before, I just want them to fight. I do not want them to deal with the third party, but if that's what they're going to do, so be it. But you always root for the underdog. That's me. I'm always going to root for the underdog, and King Kong is the underdog. He has to fight with a weapon. He has to fight with a battle axe. His hands aren't good enough. His fists just aren't doing enough damage, so he ends up getting himself a battle axe to go up against his atomic breath, Godzilla's atomic breath. So there you have it. Anyways, that's all I gotta say in this review. This is a trailer review. These are my thoughts about the Godzilla vs. Kong film. Super looking forward to it. Oh my god, this is gonna be an amazing film. I'm gonna crank up the volume, and like if I get to watch it at home, but if not, I'm definitely watching it on a big screen, man. Holy cow. It's going to be worth it. That's all I got to say. If you have any other feedback that you want to share, leave it in the comment section below. As always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace.